Olivia was in the royal library, curled into one of the huge leather armchairs with her blanket and her best teddy, reading an old book about the palace. She was trying to plan an escape route. Turning the heavy pages, she sighed, but not happily. She wanted to find a map of the palace buildings and grounds to see whether she could find a secret way out that she hadn't come across before. She'd already tried everything she could think of. Once, she had nearly got out of a small gate in the huge walls that surrounded the palace grounds. The gate had been hidden by such a thick coat of ivy that no one but her had realised it was there. She'd managed to push it open, but only walked a few paces outside when she heard footsteps behind her. Nina, her nanny, had caught her and brought her back before she could even get a glimpse of the world outside. The guards had blocked the gate the next day. After that escape attempt, Nina had felt sorry for lonely Olivia and brought her a set of brightly covered paperback books, which Olivia kept stuffed into her duvet cover to read endlessly at night by the light of a torch. In the dim light of the little bulb, she read about the exciting adventures of two girls in a faraway land called England. They went to a boarding school and became detectives. Olivia really wished she could go to school and be a detective. Sitting up at night in her four-poster bed with the embroidered curtains and her favourite teddy bear, Prince George, she imagined what school would be like, how many friends she would have, and the mysteries she would solve there. But that was just a dream world to Olivia, who lived in a palace that felt like a prison. It was a beautiful palace, or at least, people were always saying it was. She thought it was echoey, cold, and smelled of mothballs. To her, it was the loneliest place on earth, despite all the bustle that filled the corridors and the hundreds of rooms. There were no other children, and the grown-ups ignored her, though she knew if she tried to escape again, they would come running after her straight away. And there was hardly anything to do, except have her lessons with her tutors, who came to teach her pointless things like the lute and table manners, subjects that her parents thought were important for a young princess, but Olivia found very boring. She went on long walks around the gardens, wishing she could leave the palace grounds and find out what life was really like in the world beyond its tall walls and gates. She hadn't been outside for years now. There had been no more trips to the lookout tower, no picnics in the mountains, nor chances to paddle in the streams in the valley. When she asked her parents why they never went anywhere, her mother pretended she hadn't heard, and her dad looked sad, but said nothing. That sunny morning, as the butterflies fluttered and the hummingbirds drank nectar from the mass of flowering trees outside the library window, Olivia gave up closely examining maps of the palace and decided to go back to her self-made educational system. Her parents never told her anything she wanted to know. They just banged on about royal family history and the great magical yarns of the past. Olivia felt she was too old now for fairy tales, and anyway, she'd heard all the stories of Alez of the past. She wanted to know about Alez of the present, but her parents didn't have anything to say on that topic. Olivia was baffled by this. They told her it was her destiny to rule over Alez, and yet they didn't seem able to tell her the simplest facts about the country they expected her to run one distant day. To make up for this, she had come up with a plan to read everything in the library, from one side to the other. The books weren't always helpful, though. It was the library of her royal ancestors, so it was mostly about learning to joust or how to conduct complicated royal relationships with other countries. Some, however, were interesting. She especially liked the little book of maps, where Alez was drawn and photographed in minute detail. Every orchard, village, and rushing stream was brilliantly coloured and recorded. She would pore for hours over the illustrations of bright blue lakes, clear rivers, green grazing pastures, and huge rolling forests. Below the palace, a road led to the city's port and harbour, with the sea stretching into the distance.